How's it going, everyone? You can call me Doc, and in this video I'm going to share with you every PvE healer set that you could need in the Elder Scrolls Online in 2025. I'll even be including some alternatives if there are some sets maybe you can't or don't want to acquire, though I won't be including traits and enchantments or precisely how you should combine these sets because I am currently working on a build video that I'll be putting out this weekend. This video will just be focused on what sets you should grind out for your sticker book, so make sure to tune in this weekend to catch the build video after you've hopefully had a chance to, grind out a couple of these sets. Also, stay tuned to the end of the video to hear some quick ESO news as well as a couple channel updates. And I think let's just go ahead and jump right into this. Let's first start by talking about the bread and butter of every healer build, our 5P sets. And topping off our list, we have Spell Power Cure, arguably the single most useful healing set in the entire game. Seriously, if you can only grind out one single set after watching this video, let it be this one. Found in the White Gold Tower dungeon, this set provides major courage whenever you overheal someone, giving them a bonus to their weapon and spell damage. It's strong, it's an easy grind, and the uptime you can keep on this buff is insanely high. Next we have Yorvold's Guidance. Not particularly useful outside of one specific build, but that one specific build is a meta build for Trials healing. This set will extend the duration of major and minor buffs, which can pair very well with a lot of other sets and abilities, etc., though again, mainly used for that one specific build, which I'll cover this weekend. And it is found in Scalecoller's Peak, so grind can be a tad bit rough, but honestly, totally worth it. Now we're getting into the trial sets with Pillager's Prophet. Don't be intimidated by having to grind trials for these next few sets. I posted a video a while back about being ready for trials, and you should definitely check that out. So don't be intimidated by this. So Pillagers is found in the Dreadsail Reef trial, and it provides a large sum of ultimate to 11 other allies, so a full trials group whenever you cast your own ultimate. This is another set that's used for a pretty specific build, a pretty common trend that you'll see here, but that build is meta for trials healing, again. Even outside, though, of that one specific build, being able to grant ultimate charge to your allies can be insanely strong for boss DPS. Next we have Roaring Opportunist. Found in the Kind's Aegis trial, this set will grant Major Slayer to 6 players after completing a fully charged heavy attack. Since Major Slayer was made for group content mobs, it's arguably one of the most important buffs you can currently bring to a trial or even a dungeon as a healer. While it's mainly used for a trials build, I will say no one will complain about you bringing this into a dungeon or arena. I'll talk more this weekend about builds and whatnot and, what you might want to use over this. But if you happen to have Roaring Opportunist laying around, no one's going to bat an eye at you. Next, we have Master Architect. So, a meta 5-piece set for dungeon healing, arguably the best dungeon healing set, right up there with Spell Power Cure, but not seen a whole lot in trials. Master Architect is found in the Halls of Fabrication trial. This set, like Roaring Opportunist, grants Major Slayer. The difference is that this set procs off of your ult, making the duration much higher at the cost of being able to use it on less people. The fortunate thing is that since dungeons and arenas are only for people, this set will hit everyone, so they get the benefit of your ult plus the very long duration of Major Slayer. Okay, next we're going to move on to our monster sets. For those, you're going to want, starting off, Symphony of Blades. Found in the depths of Malatar, this is a great sustain set that will grant allies stamina or magicka whenever you heal them, and they're low on whatever their main resource is, so whatever their higher resource is. This is overall just a solid set that can be used in a ton of different scenarios. No matter what content you're doing, Symphony will not be a bad choice. Highly recommend. Next we have Nazare. Found in Vet Shipwright's Regret. This is an amazing monster set for organized group healers. Casting an ultimate will extend the duration of debuffs on enemies by a pretty good amount. When coordinated well, this can create some seriously high uptime on some really important debuffs. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that tanks tend to run this as well, but I wanted to include it because, I figure it's worth it, right? Never hurts to have it. Finally, for our monster sets, we have Ozazen the Inferno. Found in Vet Scrivener's Hall, this is an awesome defensive set for making sure your group members don't go down. Overhealing them grants an armor buff. Healing them grants minor vitality, which increases the amount of healing and shielding received. On top of that, while this list is made with PvE in mind, I figured I'd just throw it out there. Ozazen is actually a really solid PvP healing monster set if you are looking to get into PvP at some point. Next up, let's talk about our mythics and arena weapons. So first we have Pearls of Elnafay. While I don't remember all of the leads off the top of my head, I do believe that Pearls is not too terribly difficult to get. I think even the newest of players should be able to get this so long as their scrying level is high enough. And I honestly highly recommend it. It is one of the main mythics for a Trials build. So whenever you cast a healing ability, while your primary resource should be Magicka, but for all 7 of you stam healers out there, maybe stamina. While it's under 50% and you cast a healing ability, you'll gain 3 ultimate. It doesn't sound like a whole lot, but I promise you it'll make sense why it's so strong whenever I post the video. Those little bits of ultimate really add up quickly with the build that I'm going to share this weekend. Next we have Spalder of Ruin. To be honest, I don't typically see healers wearing these anymore, but I figured I'd include it because I do think some groups may still ask a healer to bring this. So using your crouch button will activate and deactivate an aura around you that will give a damage buff to your allies. It's still a really great mythic, like there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that there's normally a support DPS or tank that tends to run this these days. Again though, I do think it's at least worth scrying for because you never know when you're going to need it, and I really don't remember the leads being too difficult to acquire. And next, the Master's Restoration Staff. Sometimes also referred to as the Grand Rejuvenation Staff, it's found in the Dragonstar Arena and used by Dungeon and Trials healers alike. The initial placement of the Grand Healing skill and its morphs will grant stamina and magicka to everyone who is standing in the circle. It's a great resource sustain tool, and your tanks will thank you, especially if they're the ones who are wearing like Spalder or something like that. So just in case you aren't feeling completely comfortable with things like Trials and DLC dungeons and stuff like that, I figured I'd just throw together a couple starter sets that may be able to help you work your way up to harder content as a healer. So, if you're a veteran and you've already got all your sets and you are good to go, maybe you were just missing 1 or 2 from that top list, you are welcome to skip this part. This probably isn't for you, but for my newer people, this is absolutely for you. So please, tune into this part right here. So topping off our list, we have Powerful Assault. Now, hold on. You could probably make the argument that this isn't necessarily a starter set because it comes from PvP and it's kind of expensive. However, if you have a lot of gold from other characters, this set is very easy to acquire for a new healer because you can actually buy it from guild traders. Pro tip, I would probably buy the Inferno or the Lightning Staff. I would not buy the Ice Staff. That will save you a lot of money. So Powerful Assault grants you and your allies an unnamed damage buff, meaning this buff can stack with other damage buffs like Major Courage or whatever whenever you cast an Assault ability. This is a fantastic set, and to be honest, while most other sets on this list you'd probably want to get rid of pretty quickly, Powerful Assault is something that I hold on to even to this day. Again though, eventually most of us are going to not wear this set a whole lot though, because you are going to most commonly find this set ran on tanks. However, in unorganized groups or with newer people, With newer tanks specifically, they might not have powerful assault yet, so it may be really useful for you to have this. I think it's a great set and it's worth every piece of gold if you're able to afford it. It's a little expensive. Next we have Phoenix Moth Theurge. I think I'm saying that right. I don't know. Found in the Galen Overland or in Guild Traders, this is a great offensive starter healing set. So healing yourself or an ally grants them minor courage and minor force. While both of these buffs are typically covered in high-end groups, you're not always likely to find both of these buffs in a newer player population. Keep in mind, though, that this is specifically healing, not overhealing. So it may not have the best uptime in the world. However, a couple pretty good buffs that you're giving your team there just by healing them. So I think a solid starter set. Next, we have Daring Corsair, a craftable set found in Southern Elsewhere and purchasable from Guild Traders. This is a great set for managing your own resources and keeping your ult charged. It reduces the cost of your weapon skills by 10% and grants you minor heroism, which gives you an ult charge for 8 seconds whenever you use a weapon skill. Pretty much all healer builds should be utilizing a few skills from the Restoration Staff skill line, so this set can be great for making sure your ult is charged for each boss encounter. Next we have Kagranak's Hope. Good old Kaggies. So this is a craftable set found in the Earth Forge, and yet again able to be purchased from Guild Traders as well. A common theme there. I can't say that this would be your best option, but I can say that this set has come in handy for me a few times, back when I was a much younger doc. It grants you a 25% revive speed increase among a couple other things. While healers shouldn't typically be the ones who are picking people up off the ground, not all new players are going to know that, and sometimes you will need to pick up a DPS or a tank when they go down. Pair this set with the Templar Revive passive and the Spirit Mastery Champion point, and it is actually hilarious how fast you can pick people up off the ground. Finally, Sentinel of you know what? I never did figure out how to pronounce this one. Sentinel. I'm just going to call it Sentinel. This is the #1 monster set that I always recommend for beginners. It's found in Vet Darkshade Caverns 1, which is super easy, by the way. Don't let Vet scare you. Darkshade 1 is like super easy. So when healing yourself or an ally, you have a chance to summon a little dwarven spider that heals and restores resources to anyone standing in the AoE. While eventually you'll want to replace this with something like Symphony of Blades, this is a fantastic set to keep on while you grind out those other dungeon sets. And that was every healer set, plus a few extras, that you should make sure to have in your inventory in 2025. One last thing I want to mention, though, is that if you're not interested in high-end content like Vet Trials or HM DLC dungeons, I wouldn't stress too much about making sure you have all of these sets. If you have a particular set that you're really attached to, or maybe you're doing some sort of specific build, then feel free to continue to enjoy the way you play and enjoy the game the way you want to. This is just meant to show newer or returning players who may be interested in endgame content the typical sets that you're going to see in the healing community. So whether you're a brand new player, new to healing, or making your way back into ESO, I hope you're able to take something out of this. By the way, I apologize that it's been a while since my last ESO video. There's been a lot to talk about in gaming recently, and it's been a good problem to have, but I don't want to fall behind in my ESO content, so expect plenty more ESO videos in the near future. If you enjoyed this video and want to know more about how you can make these sets into a build, then make sure to subscribe and follow me on my socials, linked in the description, so you don't miss that video when it goes out this weekend. As always, let me know if you think that I missed any important sets, and I hope that you enjoyed the video. Also, couple last quick little things. Firstly, I apologize if I sound off this video. I think I'm coming down with something. I don't know what's going on. So if my voice sounded a little weird, I think I'm sick. Don't worry about it. I'm good. I'm chilling. I'm a healer. I'll be fine. And one last other little thing. I know the end of year letter came out yesterday, and I did think about making a video about it. However, I have a huge backlog of healing related videos that I'm super excited to put out for you guys and want to place my attention on that. Also, I know my fellow ESO content creators have already put out some awesome videos about all of the upcoming changes. Right now, we don't have a whole lot of information, but when we have confirmation on anything that will affect our little healing community, I promise I will put out a video, okay? For now, I'm cautiously optimistic, and I encourage you to go check out the letter for yourself. Finally, I think all I've got left to say is that I have been Doc. Take care of yourselves, be good to others, don't forget to bind your gear. I know we all do sometimes, it's okay. And I will catch y'all in the next one.